Okay, it's 8 in the morning, a little after 8 in the morning actually, and a Sunday morning in the dead of winter, and it's frozen solid. It's 6 below. This is what winter looks like in Chantilly. Well, sometimes it looks worse, sometimes it's snowy, but it's dark. We're almost at the shortest day of the year, so it's still dark at 8 o'clock in the morning. And obviously, everything is frozen solid, including the water pipes. So, time for me to go dethaw that. So, just a couple of weeks ago, it seems, we were talking about how to keep horses cool in 40-degree heat. Now we're going to talk about how to keep them warm. And, more importantly, how warm we need to keep them. We have to get 2 horses out today. Valerie's already at work at the boxes, and this is not a nice time of year to be in this business. So here we go. The hay machine is frozen, starting to thaw because it's been on for a while now. Keep the machine there, and I have to do the water buckets for the horses, but first I'm gonna have to get the blow dryer out and thaw the tops of those taps in order to get them to run, because I can already know they're not going to run now. Right, so I've thawed one of the taps with the blow dryer so we can get started on the water buckets. This is the problem, is that the water buckets are freezing overnight. So as you can see, Aki here did not drink nearly enough. He only drank about down to here of his water bucket. Normally it would be close to empty. And that's the problem in the wintertime, is that horses drink less because they don't like to drink ice cold water, not surprisingly. And we have to be very careful to avoid stasis colic in the wintertime, because when they don't drink enough, the gut doesn't move enough. But as you can see, he's still okay here. So we have to be careful. And on Sunday, he's not going out today, and the paddocks are frozen. So he'll eat very little, hopefully drink some more water, and everything's going to be fine. This is Fasano. He runs tomorrow in Lyon, so he has to go out today, even if it's fucking freezing. So, how many rugs do you put on a horse? The answer used to be, well, how cold is the owner? You have to be very careful not to think like a human and to think like a horse. Fasano is clipped for work, so he's already started to grow his coat back a little bit. But he doesn't, we've taken it off and he hasn't grown too much of it back. Back up, honey. So he is wearing 2 rugs. I usually only use one, but this over rug here, which is great, comes up on his neck and everything, keeps him toasty. It's kind of waterproof, but it's not important when it's in the box. It just happens to be a rug that I had around and it fits him. But it's not really all that warm thickness-wise. So underneath he has a polar. And it all comes off when he has to go outside. It's cold. Yeah. Right. So now when he turns, come on, Krabby, you can see where he's clipped. This is his old winter coat underneath it. There too. You got a pretty good skin underneath you yet. Grab my brush that's in here. So, stop it. He's always like this. I don't want to go outside. It's cold. Why do we clip a horse? They grow a nice winter coat. Why don't we leave them alone and let them stay warm? Well, we clip them because they work. And when they work, they sweat. And if we leave a thick winter coat on a horse, he will sweat. And then that coat will retain the moisture, and then afterwards he'll be cold, even if we cover him up. So, we let them grow a nice coat, and then we take it off. And when we take it off, we have to give him something else to keep him warm when he's not working in his box. So that's what we do in the wintertime. Now this winter has been strange with climate change, because horses will grow their coat in response to the light more than the temperature. As soon as the sunlight starts to go, the coat starts to come. Now, when it gets cold, they grow a thicker coat than they do if it's real sort of temperate, not so cold when the light starts to go. But so they all started to, it got really cold here at the end of September. We had frost one day, and they all started to push their winter coat. The light was going, everything's fine. Except that after that, it got very warm. This horse ran in Lyon a month ago. We were sweating in t-shirts, and he had already started to grow his winter coat, poor thing, but not enough of winter coat to take to clip off. So he raced in sort of a half coat. He won anyway, but and then once it got a little bit thicker, we took it off. Nice thing about a clipped horse is that it's pretty easy to brush. Not much going on here. You're wearing a rug in your box. We're just going to take the dust off, and we can saddle you right off. How do you tell when a horse is cold? The hair stands up. If you look at him here, it's a little bit hard to see because his coat is short here, but his hair is sort of puffed out because he wants to try to keep himself warm because he's naked at the moment. So we won't leave him freeze. We'll get a saddle on, we get working, and then he can come home and be toasty in his box for the rest of the day. Okay, bud. Up. Now, people who are watching me saddle this horse are going to tell me how many negative behaviors this horse is showing. He's nipping, his ears are back. Oh, he must be horribly mistreated. He must be really unhappy. That's not the case. I know that in some horses this can be interpreted that way, but good old Fasano is just fine. That's his nature. He's not a crabby horse at all. It's mostly playing, actually. Yep. When a horse nips, if you play back, he's going to nip back harder. That's how they communicate, and that's how they play. So Magic has a huge winter coat because he's been turned out for a month on a break, and he's coming back into training now, and it's time to clip that coat off for work. And purists will say, no, leave the coat and don't cover the horse, which doesn't work if you have a horse in work, because when he works, he gets sweaty, and if he's got a coat on it like this, he will stay wet after the work. It's very hard for him to dry. You can even see with the coat coming off that he sweated this morning, so it's bit. So we take the coat off, we put a nice heavy rug on, and that way when he works and he sweats, the cold damp won't stay on him.
treat.